What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. So it is time that we discuss Herta's light cone shop, especially since they've now announced the new 5-star Nihility light cone that's going to be coming. That's going to be very prevalent for break effect dot oriented characters. But not only that, we are all probably building up enough Herta Bond common currency resources to where we can now invest in a second light cone and take it to superimpose 5 or be somewhere near that ballpark. So I imagine some of you guys are probably interested in hearing my thoughts with regards to which one you should invest in next, depending on the preferences and characters you're planning to own going forward. And I think I got some invaluable insight to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with the 5-star Nihility light cone that's coming in patch 1.3. Without going through the whole entire description, essentially what it does, for free 99, you get 40% break effect at S5. Then in addition to that, you also get a 32% break effect dot increase and regular dot increase for 2 turns once you utilize that character's ultimate. So you have to use their ultimate to get the dot damage bonus. So that's a precondition. And then the icing on the cake is you get energy as well when you defeat the enemies that have your dot on them. So if they are inflicted with your dot when you defeat them, you also get additional energy recharge. This light cone is best in slot for both Luca and Sampo. And it's a fantastic option because it's absolutely free. It's a decent option for Kafka and more niche for Kafka. Here's what I mean by this. The strongest dots in the game for break effect are bleed and wind shear. And that's why Sampo and Luca can really bring out the maximum value of this light cone because of its break effect, its dot increase, and then they also have a much more difficult time getting their ults up than Kafka does. But Kafka, she's shock. Her shock is much weaker in terms of break effect than bleed and wind shear. So you don't really want Kafka breaking shields unless you're running hyper buff Kafka and nobody else on the team is capable of breaking shields. But ideally, when you're running Kafka with a Sampo or a Luca, they are the ones that need to be breaking shields because you're going to get more damage out of that shield break. So this isn't a necessity for Kafka. Good Night and Sleep Well is a fantastic option. You only need one S1 of it and it will do its job. And then of course, if you have her signature light cone, you really have nothing to worry about. But what I'm trying to say here is you don't really need to pick up this light cone or invest in it right now unless you're a big fan of Sampo and Luca. And then of course, if you're a real diehard Kafka main and you want to use that niche scenario where she is breaking shields, then you can pick this up. Sure, go for it. But if you're somebody who's looking to pick up Imbibitor Lune and or Fu Xuan, you might want to save your resources for the other options available in Herta's light cone shop, and I would skip this one. So let's go ahead and talk about those next. Okay, so the next Herta light cone that you could consider investing in is going to be On the Fall of an Eon. Now, the only way I would pick this bad boy up is if you are a Imbibitor Lune free to play main. If you're not picking up a signature light cone, this will be the next best option actually in the game for you. So you can pick this up if you're planning on playing Imbibitor Lune, but I do want you guys to know something. And the way it works is you just have to literally attack and you get a stack for free, 16% at S5, which is a massive amount of attack. And the real positive thing about this light cone is that Imbibitor Lune has great crit damage scaling, great damage bonus scaling, good crit rate. He pretty much has every element inside of a formula inside of his kit except attack percent, and this bad boy gives you so much attack percent that it pretty much completes his kit, right? So this is a fantastic option to pick up for Imbibitor Lune, and then icing on the cake, when you break their shield, you even get a little damage bonus as well, which is very nice. But the biggest selling point of this for Imbibitor Lune is going to be this attack percent increase right here. This is also a great option for Arlon mains out there. If you want to run Arlon, this is a good option for him as well. But I want you guys to consider something. I'm just going to explain to you what I'm doing. I am not investing in this light cone. I think it's great. I am picking up Imbibitor, but there's a more important light cone to pick up for me because I'm going for Fu Xuan, and we're going to talk about that next. But the reason I'm not investing in this is because my account has this at S5. I have this at level 1 right now, sitting at S5 because it was one of those light cones that the game just kept throwing at me. I did not try to aim for this. It just kept getting thrown at me. But with that being said, it is actually going to probably, and I haven't calculated this, I just looked at this and I just know I'm good with the numbers. This can outperform the free to play light cone in her shop if you snowball correctly with Imbiber de Lune. And the reason being is because that's a fat amount of crit rate increase to where he can comfortably wear a crit damage body and then get very, get pretty much maximum uptime on crit damage strikes. So the thing is, it's going to be a high skill cap because you have to kill every cycle in the MOC within 3 turns to keep maximum uptime on this. So this is not an easy one to run, but if you're in the right hands, this is a very powerful option at S5 because it gives you the attack percent, then it gives you the crit rate, which allows you to run crit damage body, and my man just is going to pop off. And here's the beautiful thing about Imbiber de Lune is he hits so goddamn hard that there is nothing inside of the game that isn't dying within 3 turns. If that man attacks something 3 times with 2 level 3 charges and a 2 level 2 charge, they're dead. There's no doubt about it. That's probably 400k, who knows? That's actually, I know, but nobody's surviving that. Literally the highest health pool character in the game, I believe, is Kafka, and she has 306,000 HP. 3 turns of Dan is slapping them cheeks, no doubt about it. So long story short, if you have this at high refinement, you don't actually need this. However, if you're not getting Fu Xuan, I would still pick this up. And then finally, this is also another good option as well. 72% attack boost at S5. If you're somewhere near the ballpark of that, this is something you can make do with without having to spend all your resources on the fall of an Eon. Those are the only 3 options I'm going to recommend. Anything outside of those 3 options is mid. Okay. If I didn't mention it, it's because I think it's mid on him. So now let's get on to the next Herta option, which is going to be preservation. Texture of memories. This is where I'm going to put my resources. I am a firm believer that Fu Xuan is the only character that can compete with the level of value that Silverwolf has. So I analyzed and I took a look at what the other preservations had to offer. One thing about her, and the biggest thing is, can she solo sustain? She needs to be able to solo sustain to truly be the most broken unit that I think she's capable of being. So I looked at all the options that I have. This one right here, increase the wearer's defense by 16%, is good, right? Increase survivability. And then I really like this second part, right? Increase the all type resistance of all allies by 8%. So basically they become a little bit more resilient against any element you're going up against. They're harder to kill against any element by 8%. In addition to her mitigation perks that she already has, this is a huge W. So if you have this is a good option. I like it. Next one, the wearer is more likely to be attacked and the damage taken is reduced by 16. Again, I also really like this one too for her because it increases her survivability and increases her chance of getting attacked. We like that, we'll take that. So I really like these 2 options. If you have either one of these are good budget options to have. They're not comparing to this, but they are good. This one at higher refinements might actually be, I'm not gonna lie, this is huge, believe it or not. Now, I don't want to get sidetracked. This is the worst light cone in the game. It literally runs out after 5 turns. Turns, not cycles. You run out of turns so fast. 5 turns can go by like this. Then, this is only a one-time activation upon entering battle. Like, this is the most dog shit light cone in the game. So, that's not going to be a good option. This is only good for damage for her ult. I don't care about her ult dealing damage. I do, but not enough to put this light cone on her. I'm more worried about her surviving. And being a solo sustainer. And then finally, his light cone. It's decent, it's good, but again, she doesn't need effect hit rate at all, and all it gives is more defense, which is cool and all, and its scaling is also nice, but I need something that is actually going to prevent her from dying even further. And that, my friends, is where we arrived at this. Also, if you want me to touch up on this, mid or even bad on her, it's not that good. But this bad boy right here is literally the second best light cone in the game for her, unless you get her signature light cone, right? And the reason it's the best in the game is because of this bad boy right here and this bad boy right here. If she gets attacked, and she will, and she has no shield, she's going to gain a shield that scales off of her HP. 32% of her HP, and her HP scaling is more cracked than Blades. So she's going to get a sizable amount of health pool for this shield. Furthermore, when everybody else is getting attacked and she's sharing their damage, the shield's taking the damage instead of her health, which is making her harder to kill. I love that. HP scaling on it looks good. Defense scaling on it looks good. And then if that wasn't enough, if she has the shield on, the damage she is taking is going to decrease by 24% at S5. And again, she has 2 other damage mitigation perks in her kit. So when you combine all of that together, her survivability is going to be top shelf tequila. So out of all the light cones I saw in Herta's store, and considering the value of the characters I'm picking up in the future, if you are a Fu Xuan main who is not picking up, or not main, but advocate, and you're not picking up her signature light cone, this is going to be where your money should go, where your resources should go. It's the best bang for the buck out of all the light cones that I've seen, in my personal opinion. But again, with the context that I provided, you can pick up the other ones, of course. But out of everything in here, this one's value for her is just phenomenal. And then finally, let's discuss the final option in Herta's light cone store, which I already have. The Hunt Path light cone, right? Let's say you're newer to the game and you're considering investing in this. I've had it long enough, I can give you guys some valuable insight. This is a great option, but there's better options. I'm not regretful of picking it up at all. It was great for me and it did its service. I used it on my Dan Heng, I used it on my Su Shang, and I'll probably use it on my Topaz. The crit rate value on it is just immaculate, especially on somebody like Su Shang who has no crit in her kit whatsoever, and you're trying to reach that 70% crit chance mark so that you can put on a comfortable Rutilant arena set, increase her skill damage. I'm going off about that, but it's very comfortable, very good to utilize for a number of Hunt Path characters. Free to play Sela players use this as well. The crit is just so damn good, and then you couple it with the attack percent snowballing. Fantastic option. But I will say, I have this at S5 now. And this at S5 gives you a ridiculous amount of damage percent bonus when attacking one character over and over again, which usually that's what you do with Hunt Path characters anyway. So this is a better option at higher refinements than that free-to-play option. And if you have this, you don't need that light cone. But I will say having them both is nice, because I found myself many times putting that sword play on my Yang Xing and putting the cruising in the Stellar Sea on my Dan Heng or my Su Shang or the other Hunt Path characters. So having 2 Hunt Path options is very nice. But I will say, if you can pick this up in the free-to-play shop after saving up enough resources, this is one light cone that can pretty much is like a substitute for this light cone right here. But the Hunt Path characters right now, oh yeah, so we have Yang Xing and Sela, of course. There's not a lot of Hunt Path characters out right now, and Yang Xing does not use that light cone at all. He's a sword play advocate, and these 3, they 100% use it. And then Topaz, I don't know, maybe she'll use it, maybe she won't. But what I will say is, you don't really need that light cone unless you are a free-to-play Sela player. These 2 are going to get power creep. Su Shang's nice. I think she's always going to provide some good physical support DPS. But if you're not using them, you just don't need that light cone right now. Especially if it's your second investment. I would definitely hold off on investing in that. So those are all my thoughts, guys. I mean, hopefully I brought y'all some value with regards to how I'm going about it. Again, if you're Fu Xuan, pick up that preservation one. It's going to be a huge value for you. But again, I wanted to share my thoughts just so you guys can know where my headspace is with regards to what I'm doing. As always, peace, love, and happiness. Take care, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.